Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Cupid here with an IRL Cupid deck profile. And yes, these are my real hands. Let's get it all out of the way now. Let's yes, VTuber hand reveal, very pog, right? So, here's what I've been playing in the actual TCG. I've played 4 locals with this deck, and I decided to pick it up not because it won YCS Dortmund or any other YCS, but because it's always been like fringe meta in Master Duel, and I figured why not try it out myself. So, we have built Sunavalon Rikka with the Therian package. So, yeah, let's just give a short summary of my 4 tournament experience with this deck so far, and I think you guys may or may not like, hearing a little bit about, my thoughts. So, my first ever tournament with this deck, I had forgotten the Therian package at my house, and I had to run back to my house as we were building it. Because, we had just gotten the deck finished right before the local. It was very, very exciting, right? So I had to run all the way back to my house, which was on essentially the opposite side of the city, grab the Therian cards, run back, and put the deck into the new sleeves, and I managed to finish it 30 seconds before they called time to start the locals, right? Very cool stuff. I ended up going 2-2 and 1 that local. I got, I want to say it was I don't know, 11th or something out of 24 entrants, so middle of the pack. My second local, I went 3-2, and I had 2 of the worst bricks I have ever seen in one of those losses. So I ended up getting 10th that local out of 28 entrants, and then my third local, I got first place, undefeated, 4 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw. The draw was in time. Because of, how time rules work in Konami. And yeah, undefeated first place on my third local. I lost every die roll that local, actually. We called high roll every single time, and the lowest my opponent rolled was a 9. So that should tell you how that day went, luck-wise for me. And then this last Saturday, it is Monday as I'm recording this now, we had the pre-release event, and the pre-release, I ended up getting 4th. I went 3-1-1, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and yeah, I have really no complaints about how it went, and I pulled really well from that event anyway. So, here it is. We have our Rikka Sunavalon Therians. So, we are playing 3 Sunseed Genius Loci, ultra rare Loci, very cool. We love 1-card combos. This is the Cupid channel. You guys should know how much I love my 1-card combos, and here we have the 1-card combo. So, normal summon this guy, your opponent usually loses the game if everything afterwards resolves, which is very cool. 3 unexpected die. This is the same card as this, but without normal summoning, and that's busted. 1 twin, don't draw this guy. It's not very good to draw this guy. You have to get creative when you draw this guy. But playing 2 means you're more likely to open him, and that means he is even more bricky at 2, if you really think about it. Sure, you will always resolve your sewing, unless you're a psychopath and draw 2 copies of this card, but I think just not opening the one of in 45 is a more realistic expectation. Just play the 1. And then finally, my 2 copies of Sunbind Sewing. Every list I have seen runs 2. It's good as follow-up, and if your opponent goes to Ash Your Dryas because they don't quite know how to stop this deck, and you open Sewing anyway, it's still full combo, and now your opponent can't Ash you anymore. So that is our main deck, Sunseed Sunavalon package. I think that is all standard. I don't really think that there's anything else to really say about that. So next up, we're going to go into our Therian package, which is a little bit not standard. I play 3 Therian Lilyboria. The reason I play 3 is because of Small World Bridges. This is the best Small World Bridge in the deck, and also because opening Lilyboria results in you being able to play around Nibiru by making the Regulus before you hit 5 summons. And Nibiru and Droll are our main problems. This tragically doesn't let us beat Droll, but it does let us beat Nibiru, so that's good. So yeah, 3 Lilyboria. On summon, it searches, it equips a plant from graveyard. Very cool. And then you can send a card to add a Therian spell or trap from deck to hand. And that's why we play the 1 Discoliseum. Discoliseum has this neat little effect of whenever a card is destroyed by battle, you can add a Therian back. And fun fact, that has won me more games in Master Duel than it has in the actual TCG, but it is relevant. So you can grab back a Therian, and when this is activated, you can also search a Therian, which is very important because we play one Regulus, and he is a negate. That is why we play him. So I think usually the standard is maybe 1 or 2 Lilyboria. I play 3 because it just gives me a better matchup into hand traps, and I really like having a better matchup into hand traps. Next up, we have our Rikka package. Now, the Rikka package is, I think, standard. I think this is what it should be. So, we are playing 2 copies of Rikka Petal. Petal is so good. This card is probably worth playing 3 of, to be honest. The fact that it recurs itself from the grave if you use your Regulus and get it off the field, or if your opponent manages to clear your whole board somehow, and you don't die as a result, Petal is just really good for the crackback the next turn. It searches a Rikka monster from the deck, and then it specials itself if you have no monsters or only plants from grave during the opponent's end phase. Busted. Absolutely busted. 3 Princess. I like free special summons, don't you? Don't you like free special summons? Not only that, this is a hand trap. If you have a Rikka, you contribute 1, shuffle this back, negate. I have opened 2 Princess and Loci, and I looked at my opponent and I was like, you can't even Nibiru this combo. Special Princess, normal Loci. And he was like, wait, what do you mean? And I was like, I have the other one. Yeah, so definitely play 3, always. I think playing any less than 3 is inting. And yeah, so basically, while it's on field, locks you into plants. Who cares? You're only playing 1 non-plant, and his name is Therian King Regulus. And beyond that, you know, you can tribute a card while you control a Rikka monster. Tribute a monster specifically. I think it has to be a plant. Yeah, it says tribute a plant, but if you have Con, did I show my face there? No, I didn't. Okay, we're good. Yeah, it says tribute a plant. And if you have Con, tribute your opponent's monster, negate a monster effect. Don't destroy it, which is very useful in the Unchained matchup. It's actually quite nice in the Unchained matchup, even, because, you know, you don't pop them to trigger their effects, which is very good. And that's super relevant. And also the fact that it's a level 4 extender that special summons itself it's just so nice. It's like, there's so much that this card does for the deck, and yeah, anything less than 3 I think is wrong. Next, we have our 1 Primula. This card comes up way more often than I realized when I was playing it in Master Duel. The effect of Glamour to tribute something and then search 2 level 4s and then have this immediately special summon itself if you tributed your own card on top of adding the Princess is insane, because, you know, you can go Glamour, tribute your opponent's Mirror Jade, add this and Princess, and if you already have a Rikka on the board, great. When they go to Mirror Jade, you tribute, you know, something that is on your board, because at this point you Glamored with Con to tribute their Mirror Jade. Now you can use Princess to tribute something from your board to negate the Mirror Jade, so your board doesn't get blown up at the end of the turn. And then, since you tributed something from your board, you can immediately afterwards special Primula. Pretty strong. Yeah, and the fact that this is also a level 4 that special summons itself, same reason why Princess is good, it just doesn't come with the negate, so we only need to play 1. Next, we got 2 Mudan. I think this is standard. 3 is feasible, because opening Mudan is not entirely the worst, provided you can actually get a plant monster to stick to your board. This one on special summon adds any Rikka spell or trap from deck to hand. More often than not, I go for Con because I am greedy and like having extra disruptions. And this one doesn't plant lock you, which is actually kind of busted. Yeah, so I don't know. If I'm getting interrupted during my Loci combo, like, having Mudan still just makes me feel pretty good about the whole situation, because worst case scenario is I can go Mudan, special itself, add Con, set Sheet. And that gives me a very good chance of survival, because Sheet is probably the best single card disruption in the game when comboed with Con. But without Con, it's not that good. So yeah, 2 Mudan. You search it in the combo, so you don't need 3 to hard open it, but, you know, 2. I played 2. And finally, we have R1 Snowdrop, the $15 super rare. You only need 1. There's no real need to open the card. In fact, when I open it, more often than not, it just feels bad to have in my hand. But when you're searching it as part of your combo, it feels pretty good. That being said, if you open it and your opponent has disrupted you, it's nice because, you know, you get to end on at least Teardrop, or in some cases Strenna if you have this in a level 4, and then you can use this as effect to make the level of all of your plants the same as one plant that you target. So this could make everything 8, or more importantly, make everything 4 for our Strenna, which comes up a lot. In fact, Strenna is a card that you should be making most of the time if you can. So that is all of our Rikka monsters. Next, I will get into my spell and traps. 3 Rikka Concon. This is one of the most egregious field spells in the game. The fact that it lets you tribute your opponent's monster once per turn for cost is busted. And also, the fact that it lets you set 1 Rikka spell or trap from the deck once per turn is also busted. And the tribute, by the way, is soft once per turn. So if you have more than 1 Con-Con, you know, you just go Con-Con, tribute something, activate another Con-Con, tribute something else. Now, the most blatantly strong part about this is, you know, the fact that it is soft once per turn. However, if you don't end on this board, you know, Discoliseum is an acceptable field spell as well. That being said, I like having this every single time, which is why I play 3. I want to see it every single time, and it's also probably your just best card going second, like genuinely, at least in the main deck. The reason this is the best card going second is because activate Con-Con, tribute my opponent's monster for a Rikka effect. Very good. It lets me play through basically anything, and yeah, Pearly has to spin Pearly has to spin this, and then if you have Kurikara, I'm not maining it, but I do side it. Yeah, if Pearly's forced to spin this, or they get their Nor tributed, and they just lose. So, yeah, good card. Very strong. I would play 3 every single time. However, I see a lot of people don't run 3. I just think 3 is correct. Next, 3 Glamour. This one could be cut to 2. But it's Rhoda for Rikkas, right? And it has the bonus effect of if you tribute something, you get to add an additional plant with the same level as the Rikka you added. Which means, you know, tribute your opponent's monster under Con-Con, add 2. Pretty strong. And I think that's really all there is to say about Glamour. It's busted. It's a good card. It's good, really strong. And finally, R1 copy of Sheet for the Rikka cards. Best interruption in the game if you have Con-Con. Tribute 1 and target another for cost. So, you know, you're already tributing one of your opponent's cards, and then you target the other. And if you tributed, you get to Snatch Steal the card you targeted, and it also can't activate the effects of the card. Now, that being said, it's not a continuous Snatch Steal. It only lasts until the end of the turn. But, like I said, if you're ending on just Mudan, usually this card is enough by itself to keep you alive. And considering you're playing 1-card combo deck, yeah, staying alive is typically very, very strong. So yeah, this card enables the grind game that Rikka is so good at. So yeah, definitely play 1 Sheet. You don't want to play more than 1 because the deck kind of struggles with bricking, and you don't really want to brick, obviously. Next up, we have our flex cards. I'm playing 15 flex cards, which puts my deck list at a total of 45. Now, what are my flex cards, you may ask? Here they are. So I'm playing 2 Lonefire. Now, you do go into Lonefire as part of your combo, so you could argue that these are not flex cards. However, if you want to just use 3 copies of Dryas in your combo, you don't need to go into this. This only saves you resources. It is completely optional. Now, here's the reason I am playing 2. It is a small world bridge after I side in Kurikara, because I am not maining it. I probably should be, but I am, you know, not maining it. And it's also 2 extra copies of Lokai if your opponent doesn't open Ash, which is pretty cool. However, the fact that this takes up your normal summon means that this is your worst possible copy of Lokai, and no, these are not champion pack, don't worry. I am not, you know, manhandling $350 cards like this right now. Don't worry, you guys are good. But yeah, that is the reason for Lone Fire. You do go into it into your standard combo. That being said, I don't know, you don't entirely need this card. Called by. It's out one in the TCG. This card's busted. This card is absolutely absurd. This card has won every single game I have opened it. Like, genuinely. If you can Called by your opponent's Ash as you're going for your Lokai combo, they're dead. It's it. That's it. They have 5 cards after they draw for turn during your next turn, and you're just not going to have your board broken when you're making 7 disruptions, right? Unless your opponent's playing a very back row heavy deck, which is one of the decks that I think that this deck struggles with. Don't worry, we'll cover that later. So Called by, yeah, like I said, it has won me every single game. I have seen it. So Called by definitely should be in your deck. Next up, we have our Hand Trap lineup. I am maining 3-Droll. 3-Droll is really good this format against everything that is not named Unchained. Now, Unchained is probably the best deck in the game right now, as far as the TCG is concerned. I think it is, at least. That being said, opening Droll game 1, going second after you lose a die roll, especially against things like Branded Chimera or, you know, other branded-based decks, because, you know, let's assume for whatever reason they have to go something else and then normal Aluber. You can Droll them and then they can't get the fusion. Other things Droll has really helped me with are Sprite, which is still kind of relevant, surprisingly, and For Hire Sprite, which I have 2-0'd because of Droll. So, Droll is very strong. 3 Ash, very pog. Ash, it's just Ash. You know, you either play 3 Ash or you don't play Ash, I think. I don't know. Every deck searches. Every deck searches. Every deck searches. Play Ash. And 3 Imperm. I think Imperm is just solid. It doesn't play into thrust or tactics, and it gives you a negate of something on the field. That is why I am playing the Imperms. So yeah, just, you know, 3 Imperm. And that's my Hand Trap lineup. That puts us at 42, and now we have the last flex card that I am playing, which is, well, I mentioned it earlier in the video, Small Worlds. Now, Small World. How do I feel about this card? I really like it, because we were playing a 1-card combo dot deck, and, you know, Small World bridging into whatever you need is always nice. So this is essentially extra copies of Lokai, right? Now, you will argue that, oh, it's a -1, Small World is bad, right? But when your -1 leads to 1-card combo that puts up 7 interrupts, is it really that bad? I wouldn't say that it is. That being said, Small World can also get you into my favorite plays, which is do full combo, end of combo, activate Small World, reveal any plant, banish Lilyboria, add Droll. Because you can. Or, you know, reveal an Earth or anything that has only one thing in common with Lokai. Reveal Lokai in deck, add Ash for the Labyrinth matchup or something, which is another one that I have done a couple of times now, actually. So yeah, I do like Small World. I think Small World is worth considering in this deck, but I could be wrong. Alright, so that's the main deck, 45 cards. I'm going to now show you the extra deck, because, let's be honest, the extra deck is pretty important stuff, and the reason I've taken the extra deck off of the screen right now is because I'm organizing it for the video, because I want to have everything look nice and pretty for you guys. I want it to look pretty. It is very important that I make it look pretty, and I do not care that I am talking to you like I am a psychopath during the middle of the video like this. Okay, so, our extra deck. We have, first things first, 3 copies of Sun Avalon Dryas. You definitely play 3. 3 is so good, especially if you open the Lone Fire, because it lets you still do full combo. It's also good for grind game and stuff like that, and just continuing to push. And if you are like me and you mess up your combo all of the time, it's okay, because you can just Strenna to put back Melius, and after your opponent fails to kill you, you have a Dryas in your extra deck, a Melius in your extra deck, and a Sunvine Thrasher in your extra deck, which results in you still having an OTK line. So yeah, 3 Dryas. Next up, we've got the 1 Thrasher. OTK card. OTK card is very funny. Target Melius, gain 2400 attack, it becomes 32, attacks twice. When Melius targets it, you have to have Dryas for that though. And in addition to both of those things, when you kill an opponent's monster by battle, special summon it to your side of the field. Yeah, it negates the effects, but you can still attack with it. Easy OTKs. Yeah, so that's a good one. Definitely play it as a one of. Next, we've got 2 Sunvine Healer. You need 2 because we're going to reborn this with Twin to trigger our Jasmines when we gain life points. That's pretty much the entire reason we're playing 2. At least as far as I'm concerned, that's why we're playing 2. 1 Melius. The reason we play 1 is because we only need 1. Reborn Lokai on summon, and obviously when you have the Thrasher is OTK line. So this is essentially, if you get into this, you make Bangalancer, at the very least. So that's cool, and if you make it in the main monster zone, you have the 2 side zones, you summon a Lokai, and then you can make either Thrasher or Healer if you need to heal for 900 life points, which is useful in time situations. Next, we've got our Jasmines. We've got 2 of those. You only need 2. I've seen some lists consider 1. I think searching twice per turn is better than searching once per turn, though. That's just me. It's 2 plants, so you can make it with itself if you really need to come down to that. When you gain life points while it's on the field, search any plant. Really good. And then finally, you contribute 1 monster, I think this points to. Yeah, attribute 1 monster this points to. Special a plant from deck and defense position. Now, if you're playing Lone Fire, that specials Lone Fire, which then specials another plant. And you can get so much free pluses, and it's just a broken card. So 2 of those. Next, we've got 1 Sylvan Dance Peon. So this one has the gotcha effect, I like to call it, of when you summon it, you can excavate up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Special any plants you reveal. That's cool, I guess. I never hit that. So we are going to ignore that effect. But more importantly, it can make the cards it points to have the same level as a card you target in your graveyard. So if you have a princess in graveyard, and say this points to, like, I don't know, Lokai and Sunseed Twin, because you're doing some really scuffed combo, well, guess what? You can make them both level 4, overlay into Strenna, which is very, very strong. Next up, we have Bangalancer, 1 copy. He's the Link 4. Basically, he takes the damage of a monster's attack and returns it to the hand. So this will, be a bounce that you end on usually. And it has the bonus effect of you can banish exactly Link 4 from your graveyard as far as plants is concerned. You have to banish, Link monsters that add up to exactly 4. And then you can special him back from grave, but he'll be banished when he leaves the field. So this is a bounce, very useful card. Very useful card. I just wish he was slightly better. If he didn't make you take the burn damage, perfect card. Perfect card. I'm happy with it. But why does he make me burn for 2,500 damage? All of them. Well, not his own attack, but that's just an example number that I give. I think that concludes all of our links. Next, we have our copies of Strenna in mismatched rarity. I have 1 common and 1 ultra rare. I don't know why they are mismatched, but, the guy I got the Strennas from, well, I got them from 2 different people. So, yeah, we have mismatched Strennas. This is the best card. This is just... I love this card. Detach 1, add back any plant or Rikka spell or trap from graveyard. Yes, please. And then there is also the effect of when it is tributed, you can special summon a plant X seeds from your extra deck and then attach this card to it as material. It's got to be rank 5 or higher, so you can't just go back into itself. But yeah, that's really good. And now we're gonna reveal the other 2 cards that are in our extra deck. So 2 Strenna. Usually you can go through 2 in the combo and you end on 1. Especially when you're doing the just Lokai combo, I think. No, just Lokai ends on Teardrop and the Hypertron. But yeah, you end on a Strenna more often than not, and worst case scenario, I once made Strenna set sheet with Princess Engrave, and that was still like 4 interruptions, and that's just 2 cards on the board. So that's pretty good. And that's like a worst case scenario hand. That's like a, oh wow, I have the ability to make a rank 4 and then pass. Wow. Yeah, so that is why we, yeah, Strenna's good. Play 2. Play 2 Strennas. It also gives you more plays for if you only make 1 in your combo, you can make another one next turn. You know, stuff like that. Next we have Waifu. The ultimate waifu, Teardrop the Rikka Queen. Target your opponent, or target a card on the field, tribute it. Quick effect if you have a plant. That's good already. And it gains 200 attack every time you do so. So this gives you an additional tribute during your opponent's turn, and since tribute is non-destruction effect, pretty strong stuff, especially against the Unchained matchup. I make this card all the time going second. Like, going second, if I'm trying to crack through my opponent's board, more often than not, I'm either making Teardrop Tribute, I'm making Bangalancer Bounce, and then trying to go for Thrasher OTK, or I am just going to simply die. But Teardrop being, a tribute, and then after you tribute, it becomes a 3k beater, and then, you can swing over something else, usually results in you getting through whatever your opponent has. And then on top of that, you just have another tribute for next turn if you make it with Snowdrop. You can also cheat it out with Strenna, which I don't know how recommended that actually is, but you can do that. Usually I cheat out the other card in the extra deck, which is the last card of the extra deck, Sacred Tree Beast Hyperion. I've heard people call it Hypertron. It's Hyperion, but it's okay. No one really cares. So when you summon it with Strenna, guess what? It's a monster negate and destroy. Very cool. But if you summon it with Strenna and then, you activate a spell afterwards, this has the effect of attach a spell, trap, or monster effect that is based on one that you've activated. So let's say you activate a monster, it can attach a monster from grave. And then, you detach a card of the same type to negate and destroy a card of the same type. So usually, when I'm using this, I am trying to end on a spell and monster negate, but you only get 1 per turn. That being said, that's still pretty good. Additional negates is always nice. And then finally, we have our side deck. My side deck is very unfinished, as I am just returning to the game, and I am, a budget player. So, we are on 3 Nibiru. Nibiru is our answer to the Unchained combo. And even then, they can play through it sometimes, depending on their hand. What else is Nibiru good against? Well, basically everything, to be honest. I think basically everything that isn't Labyrinth, will summon 5 times in a turn. And even sometimes Labyrinth will summon 5 times in a turn. So that's pretty nice to have as a side. That being said, I think I've only seen this card once in my 4 tournaments. So, yeah. So much for siding it. Next, we've got Kurikara. This used to be a Gamma Seal. I made it into a Kurikara. Kurikara is just a little bit better this format, because you're going to use your opponent's cards, and then you're going to tribute them, and then just swing. So basically, if your opponent actually has disruptions, fantastic. You can force them, make a Kurikara, swing for 45, and then call it a day, probably. Okay, so yeah. The way you search this with Small World is, guess what? It's a fire, and it's also level 1. So that means you could bridge into it with either Loci, you could bridge it into it with like Ash if you have a way into Ash. You can bridge into it with Petal, worst case scenario. You can bridge into it with Lone Fire as well. Kurikara is just, solid. And that's why we like Small World so much. Next, Rose Whip. This is our answer to back row decks. We Rose Whip combo them. We go into the combo, and then we end on a Rose Whip and a Regulus, and then our opponent can only activate one spell or trap per turn, which we're going to just negate with Regulus, meaning that they can no longer activate any spells and traps, because we negate the effect and not the activation. So, yeah. Essentially locking our opponent out of spells and traps. Very nice stuff. Definitely a side deck. Next, we've got Gameciel. I was wrong. I thought this was Gameciel. It turns out it was actually Pankratops before this. My bad. Anyway, so here is our goodbye singular card. We can bridge into this very easily. In fact, it's level 8, which means we can bridge into it with, not Teardrop, Therian Lilyboria. And Lilyboria, coincidentally, happens to be a plant, which lines up with literally everything in our main deck. So opening Small World means we've opened this, which is nice. Very cool stuff. After that, we have our spells and traps. We have 2 Twin Twisters and a Harpy's Feather Duster for our back row hate. That being said, Twin Twisters is outdated. I am getting made fun of for running Twin Twisters. This is just what I happen to have. If I had, like, Triple Tactics Thrust, I would probably be playing those. As opposed to using Twin Twisters. But that being said, even then, Twin Twisters isn't even that bad. You can dump a plant into the graveyard for your Lilyboria. You can pitch, Princess, and then go normal summon a Rikka if you really wanted to. And, you don't really need your hand advantage considering you're playing so many one-card combos. And then Harpy's Feather Duster, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Now, I do think back row decks are our hardest matchup as we only put 1 and sometimes 2 interruptions up for those. So I do think that these are necessities. Back row hate. Next up, we have 3 evenly matched in secret rare and ultra rare. Now, the reason why we play 3 evenly matched, do I need to explain it? Best going second card, I think. And, after we evenly matched off their board and they have either 1 interaction left plus some hand traps or, just nothing, we just do full combo with Loci and then tribute off their last card, provided it is not something like Gozen Match, which I have had happen. That being said, after I resolved evenly and the Labyrinth player kept Gozen Match, I managed to win that game. So even then, evenly is pretty good. Because, you just beat the Labyrinth player by, oh wow, now they only have 1 trap card, and it's Gozen. Cool, I guess I'll just make Teardrop and sit on this until they die. And, yeah, they had no way of recovering their resource loop because they got evenly, which is nice. And then finally, 3 D-Barrier. I think D-Barrier is still very good because of the prevalence of Branded. I mean, sure, it's not like the best deck anymore by any means, but it's still around. And, worst case scenario is you call Xseeds against Unchained. Suddenly you're not dealing with, Machinax or Caesar. You call, what else can you call? What else is relevant? I mean, Branded Chimera, again, call Fusion. They're done. They don't play anymore for the turn. What are some other relevant matchups this is relevant in that are, like, meta? I mean, Synchro Pile, call Synchro, for obvious reasons, right? So, yeah, I think 3D Barrier is absolutely acceptable as a side deck, and if I had thrusts, I would probably cut this to 2, and then cut Twin Twisters, and then play 2 with the 3 thrusts, or something. And yeah, that's my official Cupid Rikka Sunavalon IRL TCG deck. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.